Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Jenny Aiello, and this is With Love, Jenny, a podcast where we meet ourselves right in the heart of our vulnerability and authenticity. In this sacred space where it's just you and I dive into real life, rich with wisdom and opportunities for deep healing. I explore what it means to truly connect to ourselves, to each other, and to something much greater than us all. In each podcast, I like to meet life right where it touches us most, in our tenderness, in our truth, in our struggles and our strength. So wherever you are on your journey, or whatever it is that you're carrying, no matter how light or heavy, just know I'm so grateful that you're here with me today. So take a deep breath, settle in, and let's begin today's episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of With Love, Jenny. Today, my co-host Kristen and I are diving into an interesting dynamic that we often find ourselves in, the drama triangle. Okay, this episode is going to be very interesting, and if you haven't heard of the drama triangle, you're going to want to turn up the volume and listen closely. Kristen, are you ready to get started?
Yeah, definitely. As Jenny and I were preparing for this podcast, I really had no idea where she was going with that term. And as she explained it to me, my whole body just got so intrigued. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a good one. I cannot wait to see where this goes. So yes.
Well, it is. It is a rich learning tool. I did not come up with this. This is something that is widely used in personal growth and development circles and therapeutic circles. I don't know who was the originator of it, but it's brilliant, whoever it was, because when you are in a drama triangle, there is a lot of struggle. And I think we are, as a society, addicted to drama. It's literally a compulsion. We like to watch reality TV that's full of drama. We like to get in the rush of drama. It's a physical adrenaline rush that we get addicted to. And it's also something that causes great stress. As much as we talk about bad habits, drama is a really bad habit. It's the opposite of peace. It's not giving you a simple, peaceful life. And some people find that so boring that they have to stir up drama just to get that adrenaline rush.
And before you know it, it takes over. Like at first you're so intrigued, but then it becomes a part of your life that you don't even realize that you've come to like it so much that you're now attracting it.
Yes, and you do. And if you don't find it, you create it. We do drama really, really well. After you learn about the drama triangle and you see what is the predominant role, I call it the doorway that you step in, is usually through one of the three parts of the triangle, the roles of each drama triangle. And you'll step into it and through that doorway of it for a good reason. Okay. And we're going to dissect that. So let me start. I want to give you a visual before we start into what the drama triangle actually is, because this actually sets it up into I'm just visual. So I just want to paint this picture. Imagine that there's pick someone, anyone in your life right now that you care deeply about. And imagine that they are in the middle of, well, before I put you in the position, imagine someone you care about, but maybe pick someone who is struggling with something. Maybe they're trapped in their own self-sabotage. Maybe you see them in a very unhealthy relationship. Maybe they're struggling with their own recovery of whatever. Maybe they're just trapped in drama itself. Like every time you talk to them, they're in some sort of drama. So once you have this person identified, I want you to picture them way out in the middle of the ocean, and they're flailing and they're flapping their arms and their legs frantically, trying not to sink. And you're 500 yards away, close enough to see their struggle, but they can't get to you. So you're a good swimmer. You're strong. You're confident. You know that you can swim to where they are. and you can save them. So you dive off your boat, you swim the long 500 yards knowing I can get there. And maybe you're even a trained lifeguard. So you absolutely know when you get there what to do. And you look out and you see them, and that instinct, it kicks in. I'm going to save them. And it puts you in motion before you don't even think twice. You just start going toward them. And you swim confidently to where they are, and expecting the whole time that I will save them and they will be so happy that I'm there. They will be so happy to know help is on the way, right? So you expect a wholehearted welcome and that they will trust you with their life when you get there. But when you arrive, you're 10 feet away, 5 feet away, and you get into their proximity. An elbow jabs you really hard, and a leg kicks you really hard in the side. And then their hand slaps you across the face, and you're kind of stunned. Like, why are you fighting me? I came to help you. What did I do to deserve that? Right? And the feeling that follows those thoughts is offense. Like, I'm offended that you just hurt me when I'm just trying to help you. That's when you make it about you, right? Sometimes those kicks and punches and slaps leave you so deeply wounded that you actually say, forget that, and you retreat. You go away. Maybe you're confused by their behavior, but you're like, okay, fine. You get angry and you retreat. Maybe you're someone who says, I'll take another punch, another kick, another slap because I am so committed to saving you. And what we don't know when we are offended by someone is that 99% of the time, when someone is reacting at you just trying to be in their life or to help, or you're not even trying to help, sometimes you're just in proximity to their drama, that when they lash out, you think it's about you. And 99% of the time, it's not about you at all. It's about someone who's trying not to drown. And they're just trying to survive at that point. They're not trying to save you. They're trying to save themselves. And you just got in the way. When we can learn that concept, we can have compassion for them. And we can have compassion for the fact that they're struggling and not make it about us. But we also can recognize the need for energetic and sometimes physical boundaries around someone who's in that condition, because we are putting ourselves in danger sometimes by trying to step into their struggle. And when we realize that they're the ones struggling with something, we often have to resist that impulse, that instinct to step in, expecting a result that is going to be next to impossible for us to get. And then that causes us to get resentful and angry. So it is kind of like reading the room. If we burst into the room with all of our troubles about something that happened in our day, and we don't stop to see if the person we're sharing it with is in a good space to receive that interaction, we might get surprised by an elbow jab. And I don't mean literally, but maybe literally, but energetically, they may not be ready to support us in the conversation that we need because they're trying to figure out how not to drown in their own reality at the same time. And so checking in with someone before you begin to share, asking for help instead of acting out the drama to get the attention for what you need, are all real subtle, nuanced skills that we have to develop. So let's switch over to the topic of the drama triangle. If you're not familiar with it, there's 3 players in the drama triangle. And in the drama triangle, only 2 people need to be in it. It takes 2 people most of the time. You don't need 3 people. 2 people can split the roles of the 3 parts of the drama triangle. So let's go through those roles real quick. The first is the victim. This is the role we take on when we feel we were wronged, when we feel disappointed, when we feel hurt, or we feel powerless. So someone who can't swim, who fell off the boat in the middle of the ocean, is going to feel powerless. And they are splashing and flailing and trying to not drown, right? They are a victim because they got tossed off the boat. The second person, when there's a victim that enters the scene, is the rescuer. And this is the person, that strong lifeguard in us, who wants to help or save the other person from their distress. So if you're a supportive personality, which I am, you actually spend a lot of time unconsciously seeking out opportunities to rescue people, because that sometimes feeds into who we think we are. It's like, but I can save them because I know how to swim. I am a lifeguard, and that gives my life meaning to know that I was able to help. It's real tricky, real tightrope when we walk on that, because you do want to offer help to people. You do want to fulfill that meaning and purpose to your gifts and talents, but the other person is 50% of that. And if they don't want rescued, then you're going to get disappointed and hurt and disillusioned by that exchange. They could lash out at you, which takes us into the third role that's in the drama triangle, and that's the persecutor. This is when we find someone or something to blame for making us the victim in the first place. It's a telltale sign that you're in a drama triangle, and in the struggle, when you notice someone or both are blaming someone or both for the situation at hand. When I'm coaching people who are centered in the middle of the dynamic of a drama triangle, I find there is a huge resistance at giving up the role that they're in. They're very wedded to being the victim and being right about the fact that they did nothing wrong. They are the victim of someone else or a circumstance. I have people very wedded to being the role of the persecutor. It's your fault. You did this to me. You did whatever, right? Pointing fingers, you. They're the persecutor. And then there's people who are very wedded to being the rescuer, the helper. And I found myself in that role a lot. And when my help was rejected, I became the victim of being hurt in the rescue, right? And I had to go into a deep dive and look at myself of what is it that's driving that need to rescue. And I will tell you, I learned so much when I studied my own involvement in the drama triangle. And let me tell you, if you're a breathing human being, you are in a drama triangle somewhere in your life. It's part of the human experience. Very enlightened people don't get into drama triangles, but most of us are out here getting tossed into them all the time. If you get triggered, you're in one. So we're going to talk more about that. But as a rescuer, I look for ways to feel purposeful. I look for ways to use my gifts. I look for ways to be that person that can bring relief and help to others. And that's admirable. But why? I want to know, why is that important to me? And what I discovered is that I have a very, very low tolerance for suffering. If my beautiful dog is limping, I feel it. I feel it in my body. I am so uncomfortable with her suffering at all. If anyone I care about is suffering, it is very hard for me to watch people suffer. And when you attract people to rescue, you're looking at people suffering. And so the sooner I get them out of their suffering, the less I suffer. So my rescuing was a very self-serving dynamic. It wasn't clean. I find people to rescue because that makes me feel good. And then I force them to let me help them so that they don't suffer because I don't want to feel bad. And all the while, I'm just using them to fulfill some type of stroke my self-esteem or remind myself I have some kind of worth based on that rather than just because I do.
Can I chime in real quick, Jenny? 'Cause I'm
Absolutely.
kind of getting not confused, but just want some clarification. So I had a coaching call with Jenny maybe about 2 weeks ago, and I was in full on victim persecutor mode. I would not give it up. But Jenny, you in that situation didn't give up on me. And it took me a half hour to diffuse and to finally come back to my soul and get out of my ego. But you were the rescuer in that situation. But is it different because you weren't a part of the triangle that was involved in me feeling that way, that where you can come in and be the rescuer? Or I don't even know where I'm trying to go, but
I absolutely love this question. This is why I love our conversations so much. So there's a difference between supporting and holding space and showing up for someone and rescuing them. So if I tried to rescue you from that, you dig your heels in even more. You were being very stubborn about it. And if I was just flat out like arguing with you, I would have been in the drama triangle. I would have been calling you names. I would have persecuted and said, Kristen, you're just being a baby right now. And I would have been all like, and mad. If I felt myself getting triggered in that, I am all a part of your drama at that point. But as a coach, we're taught energetic boundaries. It's like in the vision of the swimmer, instead of swimming, I might have driven my boat right up to about 10 feet away, and I would have thrown a lifeline and said, just grab it. And if you didn't want to grab it and you kicked it away and said, I don't want it, I would have said, okay, well, I'm going to keep throwing it until you decide that you want it. I'm going to stay with you, though. I'm not going to give up on you. I'm not going to say, screw you, and drop my boat and my lifeline away. I'm going to be with you, but I'm going to do it in a way that allows you to be in your process until you exhaust yourself and say, okay, now, do I sit there and twiddle my thumbs for 30 minutes with you? No, I am asking you good questions.
right.
I'm giving you information. I'm saying, Kristen, you are worth grabbing hold of that. You might need to trust. You might need to surrender. I think we went into a conversation of surrender.
Mm-hmm.
And in the vision of the drowning person that we just, in this vision that we painted, that's flailing everywhere. Little do they know in that moment, it feels like I can't reach the bottom. If I try to touch the bottom, I'll drown. I can't get my feet on the ground. I don't know what to do. I'm in a panic. I'm splashing, and all they had to do was stop fighting the water and lay back, and they would float.
Well, I'll tell you why they're fighting the water. They're fighting the water because they want to feel validated.
They need to be right.
Stuck there.
Yes. So telling them, coaching them to, when you're tired enough, lay back. The water will hold you, and you will be able to rest and breathe, and you will never drown if you just lay your head back and trust that you are held. The space around you will support you. And for people that have trouble trusting life because they've been hurt a lot or traumatized by life itself,
right.
Trusting that is a big ask, right?
Right.
But at some point you realize what I'm doing isn't working. It's not getting me what I want. And I am always willing to sit with someone, especially in a coaching role. My job is just to keep reminding you, you have all you need. You're supported and you're not alone. I'm here, but I can't come out there and save you. You have to do that. You have to learn something from this experience that saves yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
Thinking back about that call, I just remember myself finally softening. Like I was rigid. I was hard. I didn't want to hear what you had to say. I'm like, no, this is how I feel. This is what happened. Isn't that shitty? And it took me to softening, and it was hard to get there.
Yeah, it often takes a while, and it's a beautiful thing when you have had the experience of someone staying with you and sitting with you in your fear and in your pain and in your righteousness and your stubbornness and your victim and your persecuting. I mean, sometimes my clients get mad at me because I won't rescue them, and I have to be the receiver of their persecution without becoming a victim of it. right? Like, I understand what you're doing, and that's not what's happening here.
Yeah, I found myself getting a little mad, but then I'm like, nope, I know this process. This is me being ridiculous. But it's like you're going towards that swimmer who's so mentally not seeing the bigger picture. They're in their tiny perspective in their tiny box with no expansiveness. And it's like, of course they're going to fight the hell out of you. They don't know how to do anything else.
And they're fighting for their life. And that's what
Right.
you have to respect. It's instead of I could have been offended and said, well, when you're ready to do a call, let's set up another one. You're not ready now. And I could have been all righteous
Right.
myself, right? But you have to be able to hold the space. I'll stay with it as long as you're willing to stay in this. And sometimes people are very wedded to their role in the drama. They need to be right about their victimhood. They need to be right about the other person is bad in that scenario. That person is hurting me and I'm a victim and somebody is supposed to come and rescue me. And when the rescue boat doesn't arrive, they're double victim, right? Like, I'm over here hurting and nobody cares and poor me and wah, and like, I could say sometimes that story is absolutely accurate. You're right. You're right. You were unduly hurt. You were left to drown. That person was evil, bad, shameful, SOB that did that. And there's no rescue boat and life sucks and it's over. Well, when you finally go, okay, well, if that's all there is, and I'm just left to feel like this, you feel your body actually let go of the fight. It's like, okay, I have to accept that I'm just going to remain a victim and drown. And nobody who has a soul wants that. They don't want that. There is a human desire to live, right? That's why they're fighting to not drown in the first place. But that acceptance of what is happening allows you to surrender to something more and save yourself. And that's what we have to know we're worth saving. It's like, I am going to either stay in this drama triangle or I am going to be bigger than this drama and change the situation. And that is when everything changes. And when I say that, it's unattached to what that looks like. It might mean that relationship spins out. It might mean that relationship heals, but something will break the pattern of the drama triangle.
Yeah, you get to a point where it's like, okay, as much as whatever you feel like is so horrible, you want to step out of the game.
Right.
And even though I decided I was ready to step out of the game like 5 years ago, there's still layers that you got to go through.
Yeah. And it'll show up in all kinds of different, same drama in a different scenario or a different day. We think we get through it, but it will, if your drama is attached to your unhealed parts, right? So for someone who's the strong lifeguard, if they are traumatized by rejection and they show up to help throw the lifeline and that person cusses them out and they're triggered by that, now they're in the drama. Now they're the victim because you just cussed them out for trying to get in your business and they didn't ask you there. And now you're a victim and persecuting them for yelling at you and wondering who's on my side. I call it building camps. It's like we get a whole camp. We call people. You'll see families do this where somebody offends someone and then they're all offended. So they're the victim and they call another family member and tell them, you know what this person said? They did this to me. And that person rescues them and says, oh, that sucks. I'm not going to talk to her for 2 weeks. And then they build their camp and then they call somebody else and they get 4 or 5 family members to be right about the fact that this person is wrong and did something bad when that person wasn't asking you to help them in the first place. They were just over there trying to survive through something, right? And so building camps is dangerous. It's what the ego does because it wants to reinforce the fact that it's right about being a victim or being the persecutor, whichever one. It's a way of rescuing us, our pride. It's a way of rescuing our discomfort of the whole situation. But that's the unhealthy rescue when you do it through persecuting others and being in the victim role.
Oh my gosh. If you would have agreed with me in my situation, I would have been like, yes, I feel awesome. But then it would have kept going.
It would have been there for hours.
Yeah. But the game would have kept go. I mean, I'm getting out of the game. I keep using that term. I'm not sure why. Because I've decided that in different areas of my life, like I don't watch the news anymore. I'm not into politics. I stepped out of that game because it's corrupt. So it's like, can you see that there's even a possibility for you to step out of your drama game?
In it, it's hard to see that. It's hard because we get very in the middle of the drama triangle. Everybody's leaping. It's like leapfrog. I'm going to persecute you and you're the victim. And I'm going to tell you nobody's coming to rescue you, and I get to be all superior. And then that person lashes back. Now I'm the victim. And usually the victim and the persecutor will go at each other and not even notice a rescuer that's in the room.
Right.
But if someone becomes the rescuer in that, and you might have had this experience, I don't know, but I've seen it in some of my coaching clients where if I align with you and I say, I just think that person is a disgusting human being. And then they go, well, no, they're really not that bad. They just do this one thing and it really irritates me, but they're a good person. Now they're rescuing the person I just persecuted.
Yeah, I've seen that.
They can it's like, I can say stuff bad about this person, but you can't. Right. And so you might run across that. You might be that. So fascinating when you look at how we trade the hat of the rescuer, the persecutor, and the victim within one 2-person fight.
It's like this horrible power struggle that you don't realize you can step out of.
And people ask, how do I get out? How do I get out? Because emotionally, we are so in it. I mean, it is pulsating. The drama pulsates. It's like in our blood, like our veins pop. Our emotions are hot in that, right? We are so busy being right. And it's hard to pull out of the curve. It's hard to say, how people ask me all the time, how do I get out when I'm in it? Because I am in it. And I say it's surrender. It's lay back and float. You have to quit being right. You have to quit being the victim. You have to claim a different power than the power of being right and superior and degrading the other person. I think that you have to practice a level of acceptance. And in my work, in the way that the toolbox I use in my coaching is also bringing self-esteem tools to you. You have to pick up some self-esteem tools. And one of those is that tool we've mentioned before in other podcasts, the self-esteem tool of curiosity. And so I would be like, I'm curious why you don't want to just make this easy. I'm curious what this struggle is doing for you. I'm curious why you need to be right about this. What does that do for you? I'm curious about what you're afraid to look at in yourself that might not be right in the scenario of the right and wrong of what you're arguing about. And it's accepting that there's something here for me to learn rather than a fight to win.
Well, right. And that's a good point. I think the hardest thing for me to get over, and you know this about me, it's funny because my word is surrender this year, but when Jenny would talk to me about surrender and accepting, to me, that was accepting defeat and they won. If I just sit back and don't act, they win. And I'm still struggling with that.
Yes, your ego doesn't it's very competitive. And that's actually when you are in a competitive dynamic, and I don't mean like competitive in a sport or something that by design is competitive. I mean, I need to be right and I'm going to win. And if you win, someone loses, right? And in a relationship, if someone loses, how does that feel? No one wants to lose. That's why you fight so hard to win.
Well, and it's like, who are you winning for? And like, for me, I think I'm championing is that even a word? And winning for the little girl inside me. Like, I have a voice now. I'm going to fight for her and I'm going to use it. But it's kind of starting to be detrimental because I'm doing it in a power struggle.
Right. You're making drama out of it. Instead of
like
saying,
you're still in the game. You think you're stepping out of the game, but you're still in it.
You're still in it to win it, right? And so in that case, you say to yourself, I'm going to be our voice. I'm going to take care of that little girl inside. Like, I know you're scared. I know you didn't have a voice and now we do, but I'm going to wrap this newfound voice with love and compassion. And that's how we win, not by being right and making someone wrong.
So let's put this in a real situation. So let's say I'm in a situation and somebody says something to me that I take so personally, and I feel like I need to fight for that. How do you surrender in a healthy way without feeling like they're walking on all over you?
Yeah, I would love for you to give me the exact scenario if you have an example, because it'll make it more tangible, but I'll answer broadly if not.
Well, let's just say, I'm very strict about the way that I eat because it helps my body. And if you're in a family situation and someone says out of nowhere, well, I just don't know how Kristen eats nowadays. Like, it's so offensive to that person. How do you
One, you made up that it was offensive to that person based on her tone, right?
Right.
Their tone, his or her tone. But we don't know that she's offended. This goes to the 99%. What might be going on is I feel inadequate to have what Kristen needs. And I'm afraid I'm going to not be able to take good care of her, or I'm going to cause her to feel ill because I didn't adequately prepare. And I don't understand what she needs to eat or how she needs to eat or when she needs to eat. And it makes me feel very vulnerable because I care about her and I don't know how to do it right. And it comes out as I'm inadequate, I'm inferior, I'm in drama around her. She doesn't make it easy for me to give her food in my love language way. Like, this is what I love to do when I feel someone loving me. They make me a warm loaf of bread. That's my love language food, to give someone a loaf of homemade warm bread. But I can't do that for Kristen because she's gluten-free, or she's this, or she doesn't eat that, or whatever. And her rules around food shut me out. And I don't know how to show and express love to her. That might be going on over there. It has nothing to do with you needing to change or do anything other than hearing her frustration without taking offense to it.
Well, I was like, and I've already gone into this drama triangle right now, like, but I know how she feels about things, and I know that she does think that my choices are ridiculous. So I get into it. So it's like, but right. Who cares? How can I just not care what she thinks, or he?
That person, it's that struggle. It's having compassion for their not knowing or understanding.
Yeah.
Having compassion for the frustration that they're in if they do find that to be offensive. And telling yourself, your self-esteem would say, when you say, I get really deeply hurt, it's prickling you. It's saying you're bad. You're a problem. What are those inner voices saying? Because they're in there saying, oh, here's Kristen again being a bad little girl, or here's Kristen causing a problem. Here's Kristen just trying to get attention. Here's Kristen. What is it that is in the back of your mind? Because that's what's feeding the emotion of deeply wounded.
All of that. And I never really thought about it like that before. All the three things you just stated.
Yes, they're all in there. And then you have to say, but I'm okay. I'm doing this for my own good. They don't understand, and that's okay. So acceptance that they're going with whatever limited understanding of this situation is where they are and how they feel about it, even if they have those thoughts. Kristen's just such a pain. It doesn't make it true.
Well, and it's almost like too, like this is lessons that I'm learning. Like you just immediately give that person all the power and you feel like crap, even though you know that the choices that you are making your life better.
Yeah.
But in that situation, that's all disappeared.
Yeah, because you got enrolled. And so one of the other tools when you talk about how do you get out of it is to not get in it, to recognize this is going to become a power struggle. I just now felt wounded, so I'm a victim of that comment. She was the persecutor, but now you're going to persecute her for making you a victim.
There's
right?
the angle.
And there is the power struggle that's born. And you actually take on the role of rescuing that inner child who felt wounded again by fighting her battle. So you're the rescuer of you, at the same time, the persecutor of the other that began by being her victim.
That is wild.
You step into all three roles.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
The first thing to do to not get in a drama triangle is to stop, to feel that trigger go off, to feel the offense, to feel the defender show up ready to fight, to feel all those visceral signals that happen when someone upsets you, offends you, or triggers you, and know that those belong to you. They're in you. No one has hurt you. They've exposed your hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh my
You
gosh.
are responsible for your triggers.
And it's like,
right?
How do you strengthen that muscle, that alignment muscle enough to when that happens, you can quickly align to your center, remember who you are, and not react to the situation?
You just said it. That's what you do, right? It's okay. And stop. When I feel a trigger, I stop. I don't speak. I don't act. I almost put myself in a remote control pause, like freeze the screen. I'm not in freeze like trauma. I just pause and I collect myself and I do an affirming thing that says, I realize I'm triggered. Thank you for allowing me to revisit this so that I can heal, because that's now in me. It's not you. I do not want to enter into this drama triangle. So I am going to take myself into a healing process instead that allows me to come back later to revisit this if it's worth revisiting, because it might not be worth revisiting it with that person. The main thing is I just learned a place that needs to heal. And what I need to remember is that I have voices back here in the back of my head that tell me my taking care of myself is a problem for other people, which makes it not okay. I know as an adult that that's not a true statement. It is always okay for me to do what I need to do to take care of myself.
Yeah, it's almost like you need to get to know your own triggers intimately, because one of mine is the tone of people's voices. Mm-hmm. Immediately makes me feel ashamed and inadequate.
So there you go. Go explore that. Get to take pen to paper and say, what do I need to do to release my emotional attachment to being shamed through people's tone of voice? How do I let it be them, not me?
When I think one thing that people need to keep in mind too is, and I'm not sure if I'm going to say this correctly, but 99% of adults are walking around as wounded children. So you're all
100%.
You're all reacting to each other's wounds.
If every adult had a childhood, they have a childhood wound that they are unaware of, that becomes a trigger. If you had a childhood, I guarantee there's some wounds in there that you're unaware of. And the only way you're going to heal them is when someone comes along and exposes it. My mentor, Carol, said, anytime someone pisses you off or upsets you or offends you, write them a thank you note and then go do your work to heal. And when you're wanting to persecute them, the thought of saying thank you is, nails on a chalkboard. It's hard. But when you think about all right, right now, thank you for letting me find another place in me that is ready to heal, and walk away and do the work.
And really, if you really think about it, you're persecuting their childhood trauma.
Yep.
Because that was deep.
Yes.
Because they're acting like a child as well. And they're acting from their background. And you're getting so mad about what they were exposed to, in a sense.
Right. That's them trying to survive. They're just trying, in that scenario, he or she is just trying to figure out how to not upset someone, because maybe sometime in their past, they were punished for upsetting people. And so I don't want to upset you, and I don't know how to not upset you because I don't know how to do this food thing right. And it's triggering my childhood trauma of not doing it right and causing someone to be upset. And you're taking it on. You're taking that on for me by getting offended. And now I've upset you.
So it's like this drama triangle is inevitable unless people are really doing the work. Like if more people were invested in this, can you imagine where we would be?
It's a path of healing. The drama triangle is the doorway to healing. We don't get in a drama triangle unless there's something that needs to be healed, or an unspoken passion hasn't been discovered yet. So sometimes people get very upset. I went through this with my son one time. This, to me, a relatively benign interaction happened that we witnessed. And he was a part of that, but he felt that things were misrepresented in this dialogue. And based on the misrepresentation, he felt justice couldn't be served, right? It wasn't accurate. It was like a conclusion happened that wasn't based in the full picture of the story. And he didn't have the ability to share the full extent of the story. And he was really upset, and to the point that it was disproportionate, right? Someone's overreacting to something and you're going, really, this wasn't that big of a deal? Like, nobody got hurt? Like, what's the big deal? And I started pressing him. Why did that matter? What is this emotion? What are you angry at right now? Anger is a passionate emotion, right? And what we got down to is that anytime there's an injustice, he gets really invested in even like righting the wrong. He doesn't like injustice. And that circles back to a childhood wound that we identified, where someone took the blame for someone else's action and no one got to see that that's what happened. And that person was labeled as the one who did it, and the other person got by with something and he witnessed, and he absolutely doesn't like that. So for him, it was a passionate gift that was emerging to where he is going to fight for justice. And in his life finds ways to do that. He could build a career off of it based on how passionate he was, but it helped him see that. And once you name it, it's like, okay, when an injustice happens, I'm tapping into something I'm passionate about, and I have to tread carefully, because in that passion, I can get my ego involved and want to be right. And you know, a fight is a resistance. So when you're fighting for that inner child, when you're fighting to protect the wound, anytime you're fighting something, you're resisting what is. You're pushing it away. And what do we know? What we resist persists, right? And so we're inviting it to stay in the struggle. We're inviting the drama triangle to be a part of our life. So accepting it, what is, and loving it and learning from it and surrendering to it, in the end, you actually win for real because you're released from it. You're released from the struggle. That's what the win is.
I'm getting this visual. Do you know the board game Sorry?
No.
Well, you have these pieces. I think maybe you have like 7 pieces. Everyone has their color. And you're trying to get across the board and get all your 7 pieces up into your home. But they keep going backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. It's like you're so stuck in this that you can't get everyone to the finish line. There's so many parts.
Horrid.
It is horrid, but you do eventually win. Someone does.
Okay.
I don't know where I was going with that, but I was getting that visual. It's like, I guess I'm thinking about stepping out of the game. Like, step out of that game. You don't have to go back and forth, back and forth. If you step out, you've already won.
Right. In the big picture, you win.
Right. In a big picture.
You know, I guess this goes, if you go into the strategy of the fight, is they say that we lose the battle, but we win the war. And the war is within. So while you might lose the battle with someone and they think that they've got to go be right, but you decided to disengage with the argument and it feels like they won because you didn't get to win, but you are stepping out, which means you've stepped out of the game and you've stepped into peace, which means there is no war. There is no right, wrong. When you're in a state of enlightenment, you know, if we all walked around enlightened beings, you're not looking to win. You're not even aware there's struggle. We're all connected and we're all winning. We're all experiencing. That's where you have peace. You can't have war and experience peace, right? Like, we step out, we experience this level of peace and surrender that even with what is something I don't want, when I accept that is what it is, and I am detached from it because in my space, I'm going to stay objectively neutral, which is my place of peace. Does that mean I don't care? Does that mean I'm not out there fighting for something I believe in? That's not the same. It's if I get engaged in the drama around it, I've abandoned the purpose of it.
My heart is just like feeling like this is so powerful. Like it's really sinking in. Like physically step off that game board. You're never going to win. You're never going to win with peace in your heart. You could win.
You know, victory is sweet and we like the win. But what I look at is what happened to the people that you beat. What happens to the people that you emotionally killed? You know, what happens to the people that you left wounded?
Right.
To taste the victory.
So you could feel better. What about everybody else?
So you could feel better.
Yeah.
But do you know, when you turn around and look at the debris you left behind in the quest to win, was it worth it? Words spoken in anger leave scars, leave the bloody battlefield. And you look and think, what did I win? What did I win that was worth that?
Because I still feel kind of shitty.
Because I've never understood war. I remember watching Gone with the Wind and watching Brother Against Brother and these movies that depict the old battlefield war battles on the battlefield. Outlander shows these horrible battles going on and the heinous things that people do to each other. And I'm like, but these are fellow humans. You know, we are killing them. Like that's what we do. And we aren't on a battlefield like that, but we all are doing that when we are unkind, when we are insensitive to other people, when we don't check in to see that they are struggling. And I'm making it about me right now and my quest to win and be right, instead of seeing that you're hurt and your hurt could be hurting me if I wasn't aware that that's what it is.
Right.
And if I didn't understand that you were trying to tread water, you weren't trying to slap and kick me, or you didn't recognize that I was here to help and you were fighting me away in your disillusionment of what was happening. But that the minute I take something personally, I'm engaged at that point to the battle, to the offense, to the being right, to hurting back. the minute I'm take anyone's action personally, and people will make it personal. People will make it. They will say something that just hits below the belt, and it's as personal as it gets. But I still have a choice of whether to make that about me or not.
Maybe that's a signal. As soon as you notice that it's personal, that's when you take a step back.
That's the pause for me. I just felt it. My cheeks get hot. My face gets hot. It's like, step back, Jenny. You just took something personal that may or may not have been. My need to not have someone reject me is when I get tagged. I'm opening myself up vulnerably here, so please be kind in comments and reaching out to this podcast episode. But when someone is saying something that's highly like, I hate you, or, I don't want to be near you, right? Something that's real offensive to me, to hear that, like, what? Like, I don't want to be anywhere near you. I don't want to be in the same county as you. I would take that personally. I would. It's my hook, because I don't like rejection. I don't like people not liking me. And one of the biggest lessons I've had to learn is that I can be okay, and not everybody's going to like me. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. And it gives me permission to say, you're not my cup of tea either, but I wish you no harm.
Yeah.
And I don't have to hang out here indefinitely, right? Like, that's saying we're not really enjoying each other's company right now. Because what I discovered is worse than the personal offense of being rejected is the feeling I have when I'm not rejected, but I am with someone who merely tolerates me, because that's me being willing to settle for being tolerated just so that I'm not rejected. And when I realized that, that's my drama triangle. When I realized it and stepped out and thought, don't need that.
Yeah. It's like, can you choose self-worth over drama?
Yes. And that's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
Yeah. My self-worth matters more. That's what wins. That's the win, right? It matters more than being right about this.
Yeah.
And defending that and fighting for something, that, you can't win. So all of that matters. All of that, your self-worth at the end of the day is your responsibility. And allowing yourself to take things personally will erode that. And your job is to not take things personally, and to allow yourself to learn and reinforce your own self-worth by whichever situation is trying to offend you.
And for me, and I know for Jenny too, well, maybe it's everybody, but your self-worth really boils down to where you come from. Like, you're innately good. You innately originate from love.
Yes.
And if we can learn to operate from that rather than playing the game and the drama, oh my gosh, that's my goal in life.
I think that we bring heaven to earth when we all learn how to step out of this drama and we live in peace. That's what it looks like. Bliss, peace, joy, all of that doesn't live inside a drama triangle.
No,
all the things that we crave and want, we sabotage because we stay in drama. And we have people in our life that bring drama to our doorstep.
I just got another visual. It's like you can try to hide in the eye of the tornado and think that that's peace, but all this chaos is going on around outside of you. So it's going to seep in. Like, you have to step out.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have to expand that, expand the peace and the calm so that it envelops beyond that. I mean, when you think of just floating in a beautiful blue water of the ocean, or are you like in treacherous waves and splashes and, the chaos of an angry ocean trying to not drown? They're two different pictures. So translating that to life, it's stay out of the drama. If you are people are addicted to drama. And if you have a friend or someone that stays in constant drama, a victim, rescuer, persecutor, that's how they live. That's how they find meaning. That's how they find purpose. It's how they wake up in the morning and how they go to sleep at night. You can check in now and then to see, hey, how you doing? But there are people that are wedded to the drama. I had to reduce the level of drama. My house got consumed with it. When you have 5 kids, you have a lot of different drama. When they were all teenagers, there was a lot of drama in my house that was making me lose my sanity, to be honest. And I had to really learn this. I had to really apply this to how do I not let that impact me? And how do I restore peace inside the walls of my home? This is my sacred space. And bringing drama and dumping it in my living room, I had to set boundaries and say, we aren't doing that here.
Yeah.
We can talk. We can be together. We can be in relationship, but there's rules around the way that we relate to one another, and treating each other with disrespect or bringing drama inside my home into my sacred space had to be a boundary that I communicate and say, I'm here for you. And this is not how it's going to look.
Real quick, I had a EMDR session with my therapist, and we were working through something, and now it's making a lot of sense from what we're talking about now. But in my EMDR sessions, I was a child of the 80s, and a lot of my visuals that I see of healing parts of my brain are through 80s movies and TV, and it's kind of comical when you think about it. But I saw me and this person as the flying ugly monkeys, and we were holding hands. And this is someone that I struggle with. And I realized, oh my gosh, we are struggling right now as we're talking. I realize this. We are struggling under the directive of the wicked witch, the drama director, telling us what to do to stay in the drama. And for people that know EMDR, like, your brain is reorganizing things to heal. And then I saw me and this person who I struggle with in the ocean as mermaids, and we let go of each other's hands, and we were both moving so freely, doing our own dance and movement in the water. And that's just another way to step out of the game. Like, do you want to be under the wicked witch drama director?
Right. Exactly. And that's how it is. It's a simple choice to not engage. It's not easy. When the ego is involved, we got to work with our ego. And that's what I mean when you supersede the ego. It's your spirit, your being, your soul has to say, hey, no more drama. And the ego has to kind of diminish and recess to the back seat of the car and say, I'll give you a new job, but this one's not your job.
And it is a process. This isn't just a decision that you make and it starts happening.
The first is awareness, know, and then you have to be willing to step out of it, which is the process. Awareness and acceptance of what is the way you step out. That's the door to exit. And then it's so simple to say it, and it's so hard to do it. And having someone who can ride that ride with you until you exhaust yourself and say, okay, I surrender. I'm going to accept this and quit fighting. And oh my gosh, that feels better. You'll get the gift of the lesson, and you'll see, you get this instant moment of clarity.
Right.
Like, oh, now I see,
Sometimes it takes glimpses of knowing what it feels like to be better over and over to finally hit that, oh, now I get it after the millionth time that we've talked about this.
Exactly. Sometimes we're stubborn learners. I am, at least. Well, we covered a lot today. We're going to jump into the blessing room over on Patreon and talk about a little bit more about the 3 roles of the drama triangle and what happens and what's it mean about the person who is predominantly in one of those roles. And so we're going to dive a little more into that, if this is something that fascinates you or you identify with and you want to hop into the blessing room with us, would love for you to join us there. We always have little gifts and sprinkles of nuggets for you waiting over there. And so we encourage you to step into that. And I also want to let you know, as always, if you are resonating with this message or this style and you feel like it would benefit you for some coaching around any of the things that we talk about on our podcast, I'm happy to talk to you about coaching and bringing you on board into my group. Kristen and I've been coaching Kristen for years, and she will tell you I get very invested in your personal growth. I get very invested and passionate about being on this journey with you. And coaching's not therapy. You've heard her mention her therapist she works and does EMDR with. She has a team around her. The coaching partnership is that we are in a partnership. It's a very different experience than the therapeutic model, but I get very invested in you, and I am happy to bring people who are invested in their own personal growth, that are open to it and willing to do the work. Absolutely reach out and we can talk, because I love what I do. I love my clients, and they seem to love the journey that we're on together. And you get to be a part of this beautiful group of people, men and women. So,
and it doesn't matter where you live, because they're coaching calls. So you can be in Arizona or Finland.
Anywhere internationally. I've had some international clients. And so other than time zones, which baffle me, we work it out. And so, yeah, there's no excuse. If you're ready to do some of this work and take it deeper, or you know someone who might be interested, share our podcast and let them know. So that's it for today. I hope that you have learned a little bit about yourself and how you interact in the drama triangle of your life, and that you are motivated to learn there's a different way. And whatever you do in the drama triangle or outside that drama triangle, remember, do it with love. Take care. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope you found a spark of wisdom to carry with you, and maybe even a deeper invitation to heal and grow and transform through your own beautiful story. Or maybe this episode made you think of someone who could use encouragement. And if so, I hope you will share it with them. If you'd like to learn more about working with me or attending one of my healing retreats, coaching programs, and other offerings, you can visit my website at jennyaiello.com or email me directly at jenny@jaiello.com. You'll find all the links in the show notes. If today's episode touched you, it would mean the world if you would leave a review or share it with someone who might need it, or just reach out and let me know how it landed for you. I'd love to hear from you. I'm building something special here. Real stories, real life, real connection. One episode, one heart, and one story at a time. As always, with love. Oh, and this is the legal message, but mostly a message from my heart, and I just need to share this with you right now. Please know this podcast is offered solely for educational and entertainment purposes. If you find yourself triggered due to anything that was shared in this podcast, please seek professional help. This podcast is not intended to be a substitute for mental health services. While I am a professional life coach, I am not a psychotherapist, nor am I a mental health clinician. So if you are struggling emotionally, please seek help, because you matter, you are important, and most of all, you are worthy of doing this work, the work that leads you to a better and healthier place. Okay? All right. Thank you. And please always make enough time to take care of yourself, and do so with love.